All right, there we are. I'm having a friend and guest, Dan, today here. I think we met, whoa, more than half a year ago. It was kind of end of last year, maybe November, maybe October-ish, where we met in the Gold Coast, where he actually had a challenge. Was it 333, I think? Or was it 555? I don't know.
It
One,
was the 333,
yes.
3Ks every 3 hours.
So he's doing fabulous things. Like for me, challenging myself physically has always been very interesting, although I'm going very much more into like the mental component of it. And I know that Dan is through those challenges, right? Running 3Ks in 3 days, or 3Ks every 3 hours for 3 days. I mean, alone to come of the idea shows what type of character you are, and he's mentally strong. He's challenging himself mentally to move to the next level and is really helping lots of people alone through, right, himself challenging himself. He's just being himself, right? He's just doing it, right? And he knows that if he does it for himself, the effect that he has on others is immense. So thanks for being here. Thanks for having the time to have that conversation.
Thank you, and you are welcome.
Yes. What did you ask to?
Sorry?
What was the question? Sorry.
No, I just said thank you, and you are welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you, bro. So this is the Higher States show today. As you all know, my name is Jarne, the healing magician, and magic is real. I do believe that. In the last 3.5 years in Australia, right now I'm back in Germany, things happened that is beyond logical understanding of things, right? Things just synchronistically aligned. I met people who helped me tapping into who I really am, right? Into my full potential, even activated my psychic abilities and helped me to look beyond the physical and tapping into the spiritual realm. And now I'm really on a mission to bridge the spiritual and the physical to be both, right? Accepting my human self, which I struggled with a long time of my life to accept that and to ground myself down into the knowledge as well, even to reach higher states properly, right? The deeper the roots grow, the higher we can rise, the more stamina has a tree in the forest, as an example, right? And to bring it to Dan and to ask the first question or to have him talking, like what would you say makes you or made you come to the idea to challenge yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, the way you do?
For me, it was feeling stuck in life. So I'm 33 now, and I don't like looking at 33 as ages. I like looking at them at levels now. So level 33 in life. And when I hit 30, I was working as a scaffolder rigger in the mines and power stations over here in New South Wales, Australia. And that is great money, but it also requires long hours and 6 days a week. So you can see how easy it is to be stuck in a cycle or a pattern of just work, 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 work. And then what comes with overworking is usually stress. When you're dealing with stress, you'll probably drink every single day. And I was eating crappy foods every single day. And then I think when you do long periods of bad habits, there has to come to a period in your life where you are faced against a brick wall and you even have a chance to either change it and go a different direction or keep doing what you're doing and pay the consequences that come with those bad habits. So I just chose to go a different direction. I used to be a runner when I was a kid. I played semi-professional football, as they call it soccer over here, semi-professional football all my life. And I just started diving into breath work and meditation, and I started noticing the stress levels come down and the overthinking and the over analyzing of the mind
Mm.
come down and be easier.
Yeah.
Then I started running again, and then running was just that was my flow state. I could just run, and then once I went through a certain barrier, I just wanted to go further and further and further. And what would happen for me when I ran was I would get into this state where I would just feel like I wasn't even running. It was like I just left the human body and I would go somewhere else, like meditative style. And then I'd come back, oh fuck, I just run 5Ks or just run 10Ks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into that state on the sand one day, just running up and down the beach. And I ended up doing 22 Ks listening to David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me. And if you haven't seen that book, I would highly recommend going to listen to it or reading it. It's unreal. And after listening to that, I went, fuck, I want to do more. I want to challenge myself. I want to push myself. So I was like, well, I'm really good at running. I love running. It makes me feel, like I can just flow. So I was like Googling like running challenges. And then David Goggins' running challenge came up and he done like 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll do that. And then I was like, why don't I do my own? And I kept seeing 555 all the time, with the time or number plates or just 555 everywhere. So then it just came to me, it was just like 5Ks every 5 hours for 5 days. And I was like, oh, that's impossible. No way. Who can do that? No one can do that. And then I just sat with that for a little bit, let the feelers out by asking people if it's possible, getting external permission to do something. And then I went, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And so I posted it, made it public, and then yeah, I did it. And it wasn't just the challenge that was challenging; it was the lead up to it. So the mental side of things, never done anything like that before. The all the fear, and I remember 2 nights before it, I was like overwhelmed with this sickness. Like I was sick to my stomach. I was like, "What have I got myself into?" And then
Mm-hmm.
I just pushed through it. The next day came. I was like, well, I've committed to it. So once you commit to something,
Yeah.
you're going to finish it either way. So that was it. I'd done it. And then afterwards, I went, fuck, if I can do this, what else can I do? I want to do something else. And then from that moment on, it was just always challenging myself. So I've done a few more running challenges where I've done 1 mile every hour for 24 hours, 2Ks every 2 hours for 2 days, 3Ks every 3 hours for 3 days. And I've done 555 now 3 times. And it is to challenge myself mentally and physically. And it's also to inspire other people to get off their ass and start challenging themselves as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and now I'm just finished a massive run here about a month ago where there's Lake Macquarie here in Newcastle. It's the biggest saltwater lake in the Southern Hemisphere. It's 82 kilometers, and I ran around that a month ago for men's mental health. So that's the furthest I've ever ran in one day. That was a huge. That was similar to doing the 555 for the first time. It was sort of the similar feelings. It's just I was so much more stronger mentally and physically. I just knew how to move through it. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I would feel a sensation of fear, I was like, yeah, sweet, this is it. This is what I want to keep doing. And yeah, so now I'm just waiting to see what else I can do. But at the moment, it's just living in lots of peace. I think pushing myself through these challenges the last 2 years, 2.5 years, has just brought me a lot of peace up here, which is something that I've always wanted and I haven't really had. So yeah, loving it.
Love that. You name many keys, and I hope that people really take what they need from it. And it's a progress, right? It's first making the decision, then to stick with the decision that you made, and then knowing that the more you do it, or the more challenges that you do for yourself or whatever, the easier it gets, or the more comfortable it gets, or whatever. Like you just go into the known, right? But what you did now is like you basically put one on top, like you find new challenges. It's a similar thing because you do run, but running around the lake has been something that you haven't done like that before. I mean, you made a 333 challenge, 444, 555, right? To give examples, and then the lake, man, right? Like
Yeah.
alone listening to you in between of the challenges or in between of the days when I listen to you, and for me it is about the realness that comes out of someone's mouth, right? Like you don't have problems to share what's going on. Like
Mm.
you name even how you do heal those blockages, right? If your physical body is aching, like, and you're able to go inside the pain, right? To figure out, like, talking with it, to analyze it, to extract whatever needs to be extracted and to heal it. The way the way that you explain it, I listened to it a couple times at least online, is just fabulous. So no, I think I'm doing similar things with a headache as an example. When I do have physical pain, I go inside and I can release the pain. So I rarely have headaches. And if I have headaches, I have them for a minute because I can figure out what I have to do, right? What it's telling me actually, right? What am I running away from? What am I
Yeah.
fearing from? And it goes into this direction. So what can you say to those physical appearances of, like, oh yeah, I have stomach pain? You mentioned stomach, right, before you do it. What can you tell to the people to move past those pains?
The way I look at body pain and sickness and everything else, right, is everything is communication back to you. Now, we have all the answers. It's just finding the answers that seems to be the hardest part.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you just take a moment and just listen, you'll be able to find the answers there, or the patterns that lead to the key to open the door to release whatever it is stored inside you, right? So I end up having knee pain on the first couple of runs, which was caused by fear and ego, right? I was fear of my arrogance getting in the way of finishing the challenge or some sort of like that. So then all I would have to do is everything's associated. So I'll just close my eyes, feel the pain, then just ask myself, what is the pain? What is my pain attached to? And there's always something. Like if you close your eyes and you don't open your mouth and you say your name, you can hear your name. Who is talking that? Who's saying that? Like no one else can hear it, but you can hear the voice in your head. So there is that voice in your head that can literally tell you what you need to know. It's just whether or not you choose, because everything's a choice, whether you listen to that voice or you ignore it. If you ignore it, the pain's still going to be there either way. But if you choose to, okay, I'm going through this, what's this about? Okay, fuck. All right, I thought I was over that. No, right. Okay, how can I move through
Mm.
this? And there's always an answer there. You can always move through it. My personal experience is I like to feel what's going on, feel the pain, and then I like to breathe in, and then I like to breathe out. And when I breathe out, I put all my intention in breathing out the pain, and I acknowledge it. And I'll breathe in something like love or joy or gratitude, a positive intention, a positive emotion. And what that will slowly do is it'll anchor what you're breathing out and replace it. It's a great technique. I love it.
Yeah, good stuff. Like breath, to use the breath and intention again, right? Intention, focused attention, basically, as well, is then the
Yeah,
key aspect. And the wand, right? I want to go into the part because many people don't want, right? And I believe if you look at the past, it's something that I'm very busy with, always has been self-healing, right? Like I always have been super curious why I feel the way I feel. So this is why today it's a little bit easier for me than for others to figure out what the heck is going on within my physical body, or even mental causes, right? Or emotional pain, whatever, because I'm busy with that my entire life. And like what I see when I'm with people who are complaining about life, who are having certain issues, right, that they struggle overcome or struggle see the bigger picture and the reason why they do have it. Like it is about the person. If the individual does want healing, I can allow them to match my frequency and to come up. And this is like for me, healing is about matching frequencies. Like which frequency do you want to have, right? And then
Mm,
it's the want. How much do you really want to have healing? How much do you want to match the frequency of being healed, right? Because
mm,
I can only help someone healing in something that I have healed myself already in. This is also what in the coaching space is ridiculous sometimes because they have difficulties to understand and be compassionate with people because they haven't been through what they've been through. So it is important to go to people, I believe, that have experienced something similar that you go through, right? So they've been there, they've done that, and they can then allow the person who needs healing to match the frequency, right? And to move beyond. For me, the similar principle, I believe, with Jesus, like he had just that amazing ability to tap in into that field, to listen, to know how to act with people, to match, to meet them where they're at, and to help them leveling up to the frequency that they receive healing, right? It is, it's the mental game at the end of the day, right? And the pure intention that we do carry within us. So I just recommend everyone to be very mindful who do you work with, right? What intentions this person has, because the ego has to get out of the way if we really want to heal, because we have to listen. For me, listening, the voice that we listen to, I do listen to several voices at times. You may can agree, like that there's something going on in there, like listen with pure intention, right? And the intention to receive the purest, the highest is what I do. So what do you think about the ego goes in the way, right? For me, ignorance is a big part, like people choosing to look away because people are not willing to feel it in the moment, right? I associate it with feel it now, like sacrifice it now when you have long-term happiness and fulfillment. But many people are, oh no, I should stay where I'm at, and then they cause long-term suffering. It's the paradox of life. So what do you think about that?
I think so. The battle of the ego was something that I struggled with in the past. And there was something that really came to me in the challenges. It was the last 555 challenge, I believe. And that was when my alarm would go off at early hours in the morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I had to get up to go run 5Ks. And those little voices in your head will be to stay in bed. Why do you need to run for? It's nice and warm in here. It's cold outside. It's raining outside. It's too early in the morning. You're sore. You're tired. Those little voices, right? And I was saying to Jack, who was in the UK, I was saying, oh, I'm fighting demons. I'm fighting demons. And then I went, these demons are me. For what purpose am I fighting myself? So then what I started to do was I started to reason with them. Yes, I understand we are tired. However, if we run these next 5Ks, we're going to feel really good about ourselves. We're going to inspire someone else. So if you help me get out of bed, run these 5Ks, I'll come back to bed and we'll be nice and comfy. How does that sound? Oh yeah, okay, yes. Boom, up, done. From that moment on, the moment I friended those voices that were trying to keep me safe and trying to keep me comfortable, I felt a huge weight just leave. I felt like I was more supported than I was arguing against myself. Because that's all the ego is, right? The ego is just programmed in a certain way to keep us comfortable from jumping out of our comfort zone. So it's going to tell you little things that you think that you need to hear to keep you comfortable and safe. It just hasn't caught up the programming where you want to go. It's still living in the past. So you want to reach a goal in the future, but the ego isn't there yet. Only the ego knows is what it's been programmed to do, which is keep you safe, keep you comfortable. What are you doing running at 1 o'clock in the morning? What are you doing running 5Ks every 5 hours for 5 days? What are you doing this for? We don't like this. We like sitting back home, eating pizza, watching Netflix all night. That's what we like to do. So it takes a while for it to catch up. However, once you sit there and have this conversation in your head, and I do this with
Mhm.
my clients that think like me, that overanalyze everything, that have all these voices cluttering all the time, I say to them, okay, I want you to imagine there's a team, right? You're at work and you've got this team. Now you're the leader. You need to delegate each job for this team member. I want you to do that, but inside your head. I want you to name them all if you have to, or just know that's the ego, that's the inner child, that's the demon, that's the higher self. Okay, today we've got this on, and just have a meeting with yourself for 5 minutes. Just calms the mind down. Once you can have that meeting, calm the mind down, delegate each job. I understand we're doing this today, but ego, if you can help me through this and support me through this, we're going to grow together and it's going to be a lot easier and it's going to bring less stress to our life. Can you do that? You're going to end up just growing so much more quicker. And the peace that you have, it's remarkable. And like we said before the started, when you have so much peace, you have patience. Then once you have patience for
Mhm.
things, I think life is a lot more bliss, and you can just be a lot more aware of what else is going on just in reality instead of being aware of what's going on inside, you know? So with the ego and with those little voices in your head, stop fighting them, stop arguing with them, just befriend them because they are you, just different versions of you.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the way you name that. It's like we cannot. It's about controlling them rather than fighting them, right? Living with them and knowing how to handle them. It is the same, right? Standing underneath a cold shower or having a warm, and then I like to end with cold because I just feel amazing after it. But before, like the ego tries to, really, maybe not today, tomorrow again, right? Or it's nice and warm, all of those things. And I have this with the bed in the morning as well, right? 12 years
Mm,
waking up every morning and don't want to go to school. I didn't want to fight that game, right? I've just been depressed of this whole system. So it's been a challenge that I'm now grateful to wake up with a smile on my face, right? It took me it took me work, right? It took me doing the things that I actually love doing or doing the things that help me move forward because this causes me to love myself even more tomorrow than I love myself today. And it's about the way to communicate with ourselves, like having a meeting with me, like how many people scheduling a meeting after meeting, but are you actually scheduling a meeting in with you? Like, are you communicating with yourself the way that you should? Because like I believe that every one of us has the answers that lie or that lead us to success, right? When we're sitting with ourselves, or success in terms of whatever your definition of success might be, right? Maybe some people have more like a materialistic um understanding of success only, which is part of it, right? I think the material things take care of itself the moment that you have the peace and the patience and the awareness of what to do, when to do. Though at first, like, how am I actually gaining control in here? And I know that
yeah.
you like the way I see the journey that you just described in here as well, and what I'm observing is that you haven't had control over that thing in here, right? Or the voices in between the ears, which I haven't had always either. So I had to struggle with the same ways, and we're all humans, right? It's not that we don't have voices that are just nasty motherfuckers. Sorry for my words, but it is just like sometimes whoa, right? Like, I ain't do this. I said so many times, I don't want to judge. I don't want to think like that. Why am I thinking like that? And I questioned, right? And I kind of analyzed it and I knew that I don't have to own them, that I
Mm,
am in control, right? Like, I am the leader. And whatever goes on in here is my responsibility. It's my choice. I have the power to control everything that goes on in here. Not that I have to
Yeah.
control anyone outside of myself, that I have to command people around. It's not like that. But my own self, my own demons, right? The demons that are fighting, I want to release them, right? Like everything that's holding me back, everything that talks negatively about myself, every voice that I've ever listened to that maybe said, "Oh, don't go outside, it's raining." Who knows who planted that seed in my brain, right? Who knows that? I love the rain. People start complaining about it, and I say, I love it. I love the sensation on my body because it allows me to feel sensations that I usually don't feel, right? Something new, something interesting, something exciting. Thunder, wow, give it to me, bro. Like just those things. So I learned to appreciate life in a different way rather than seeing the negative in it as well. So yeah, meetings with ourselves and acquiring the knowledge of ourselves is a key aspect of living a fulfilled life because many people try to be part of a gang or of a group of people or just want to belong, right? And I've been there as well. And it actually was just holding me back because I failed in being myself. And I
Yeah.
believe we are all unique, right? We all come here for like a unique purpose. And it is about learning to express our individual self. So how was this journey for you? Or even is like, I mean, I'm still in the midst of it and it's a daily work to put in to be yourself, right? Like, how was it for you? And feel free to include some great advice to help being yourself.
So the way I like to look at that is now all have thousands of thoughts a day. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's 80,000 a day
Mm-hmm.
thoughts.
Yeah, around that.
Now, the thoughts don't really matter. It's the power that we give to the thought that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by that is the thoughts that you give the most power to are the thoughts that's going to become fruition into your reality. So if you're constantly giving power to a certain thought, like I'm ugly or I'm not good enough, then you're going to be given an opportunity in your reality to do something and you're just not going to do it because of the fear of the thought, of the power of the thought you've given yourself saying, I'm not good enough. So when you do have those kinds of thoughts, it's okay to think those thoughts. It's totally fine. It's how much power you give that thought. Now, with each thought that we give power to, it's going to bring up an emotion. Now, I'm a big believer that we're emotional beings, and I believe that every emotion that we experience is there for a reason. So the way I like to look at that is every emotion is a communication back within us. So if we are, walking down the street and someone calls you a name and it makes you feel angry, then it's like, okay, how did I create that? How did I create someone walking down the street and calling me a name? Where inside me am I feeling unworthy? Where inside me am I feeling angry? And then I'm just like, it's really important to not take things personally. So instead of going, fuck you, or how dare you say this, it's like, okay, how did I create this? What am I angry at right now? Am I angry at something? What's going on? And then bang, this is all that voice in your head, right? You can go, oh, the other day you thought this, or you gave power to this thought. Is like, okay, I can clear that up now.
This is
But
high quality of like asking yourself those questions because many people they think like life is against them, right? But like you come from a
yeah,
standpoint of like you created that situation for yourself, which is like this is it, right? Many of us don't or yet at least aren't aware
mm,
of that they did place themselves into that situation. Have you always had that, or was this something that you became aware of along the track?
no. I've probably only really dived into this and started just really embodying this probably the last since New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we in 8 months? So 8 months. And that was repeating two toxic relationships within 15 months of each other. And that broke me. Like I was like so disappointed. I was like, how did I create this? How did I not learn from the first one? How did I literally repeat the exact same relationship, just different person
Mm-hmm.
in such a short period of time? Like I thought I had done the work, but I hadn't. I was still ignoring parts of me that really was trying to come out and be healed. And I just chose to ignore them. And I was being the nice guy. I was being the people pleaser. I was overreacting. I was taking things personally. I was making assumptions. And all those things would happen. And then what I would do is because I love analyzing things. And I would take things personally from anyone and everyone, especially a loved one that, was meant to love me and I was to love them. And then what I would do is I would analyze it. And when I analyzed it, because analyzing things isn't technically real, right? So whatever's happened in the past is in the past. It's not happening now. It's you're just imagining it. And then whatever you're worrying about in the future still isn't real because you're imagining it. So the only thing that's actually real is what's happening right now. But I would create these analyzing scenarios where the emotions would also come with the thought because I was giving power to the thought, and I'd just get stuck in these emotional loops over and over and over again, which just ended up just putting me in these real depressive states and fearful states. And it was only when New Year's Eve came, I wrote it all out and I had to forgive myself and I had to forgive others. And I just did like 2 pages of A4, just wrote it all out and I just burnt it with the
Good stuff.
intention of never ever having to feel, never ever having to
Mm-hmm.
do all what I just wrote out again. And then I gave myself strict boundaries. Okay, if I am feeling something negative that's not serving me, I am to address it because it is me in some way. I am to be a very good communicator with everyone and anyone. I am to never take things personally. Four Agreements, great book. Everyone should read that. And then, so yeah, that's what I would do. I would just make sure that my thoughts, doesn't matter if they're good or bad, right? There's really technically no such thing as good or bad. Everything's here to serve you for a purpose. It's just how you take it. So I was just real cautious of how much power I'd give to each thought. And then now I like to think of life as just a game and how I control the character, which is me, Daniel, the human. How I control this character is by the thoughts, not by a controller, but by the thoughts in my head. I
Mm-hmm.
want to raise my hand, I raise my hand. I want to raise my left hand, I raise my left hand. If I want to walk, I walk. It's all by thought. Everything is done by thought. So it's the same through everything. And then once that happens, you'll find just I have the most strangest encounters with strangers. Like I'll be in the shops and some random lady or man will walk up to me and just give me a compliment. Oh man, I really love your tattoos, or oh my God, like how often do you work out? And I'm just like, how like what? But then it's like I think that about myself. So it's like
Yeah.
I finally love myself and it's just the universe given reality to let me know, hey, yeah, like you're doing great. So it's like I can create someone calling me a name out of nowhere, but I can also create someone giving me a compliment out of nowhere as well. And it's just, yeah, once I experienced that and seen it come more and more, it's amazing. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, from the micro to the macro, like the moment you take control over yourself is then the life presents as exactly what you want, right? It always gives you what you need to grow, right? It can be a lesson, it can be something that you have to look at if you choose not to, right? And then it comes in ugly ways at times. And I mean, if you think about yourself in a positive way, people tell you that you're great. Right, and it's great to think that the whole universe conspires to my greatness, right? It's a very good thing, I think, to have. And it is okay. I was thinking about in which direction I'm going now because you name a few things, but like you make the decision to, or I make the decision to lift my right hand, right? To lift my left hand, or to place them together. And I do control everything that I do, right? I'm the controller of this avatar body. I think everyone agrees with, like, this is somehow like a great suit that we're capable of having. But let's talk about the mind body connection, right? Because again, if it's healing, if it's overcoming those pains when you run for God knows how far, right? Like, it is about the body mind connection. Like, how much are you actually communicating with your physical body, and how much are you able to tune into yourself in a way that I mean, people don't think about anymore how they brush their teeth, right? I became aware of it, and I'm still working on, like, somehow just adjusting some things while I'm brushing my my teeth. It's insane,
Yeah,
right? Like, because it just becomes a habit. And people
yeah,
running on this program 24/7, not knowing why they do things the way they do them, because they're not watching themselves. And the moment you really, the more you go inside, the more you heal what you don't like, right? Like, okay, yeah, and I attract the same toxic relationships, or like, for me, I became aware of, I attract the people in different bodies but same characteristics, right? They were talking the same, they liked the same things, and I was just like insane, but I haven't quite yet managed the thought that caused me this. And I could also feel uncomfortable feelings within my physical body that those people gave me, because I wasn't feeling the feeling in my body, or not acknowledging it the way that I was able to go inside and heal this feeling, that thing that I haven't acknowledged about myself yet, right? To become stronger,
mm,
to be just honest and open with my feelings, my emotions, to acknowledge my emotions and to grow with them. And I attracted the same shit over and over again. And I'm like, whoa, I can't do that. So I chose to spend time with myself, right? Meditating, breath work, a key aspect of, I think, like, body mind connection. Because sometimes if you do breath work for an hour, like, I was laying like like a T-Rex in my bed, bro, and just like pain and cramps, and I kept breathing in it and in and out, and I'm like, wow, like, for minutes, right? My legs cramp and painful, and my arms, and I'm like, well, I'm actually just breathing. How can this be? Right? In the moment that I
yeah.
yelled it out loud and I went into the pain, I could figure out the thoughts that are happening in my brain, and the thoughts and my emotions, how they relate to each other. But it's mostly, many people don't learn, or what we don't learn is until we feel the pain, which is somehow ridiculous. And I think that we're here to have that contrast experience, sometimes very
Mm,
insane and ridiculous, and to put our head around that we're actually causing our own pain. I mean,
yeah.
like, to become aware of it, it's very difficult. But what would you say is an easy way of strengthening that connection that you have with your body and your mind? Because some people, they walk around like, and not everyone is physically as capable in this life as others, right? And not everyone's path is meant to be like that. But I always played soccer or football my entire life, right? I love running as well. Just funny the similarities in it, and I know how important it is to have the mind in the right place. Because if you don't know how to hold your foot right, to try to put the ball where you want to have it, like, you fail. And this is, for some people, it takes a little longer to have the thought landing in the body, or, like, the body mind connection is somehow a little bit weird for some people. For some it's easier, for some not. But what would you recommend for people to strengthen that connection, to be more acknowledgeable about their own physical being, right? And the signals that the body is giving them, or giving you.
I would learn new habits and do them daily. And what I mean by that is like real small habits, like wake
Mm,
up and make your fucking bed. So I'm actually 4 days out from finishing this 44. Like, I love challenging myself, right? So I'm 4 days out from finishing this 4 tasks for 44 days. My 4 tasks are a cold shower. So I have a cold shower at the end of a hot shower, 4 liters of water, 30 minutes of exercise, and meditation every day. Now, there's some days where I don't want to go to the gym or do 30 minutes of exercise, but not once have I gone to the gym and wished I didn't. So start off with small wins. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that could be having a 30-second cold shower at the end of a hot shower every single day. That could be just making your bed. That could be journaling every single night. Once you break, it's breaking the old programming, right? Your body, your mind is so used to what you've been doing your past, however old you are. It's about breaking that program and starting a new cycle. But you can't just break it and then start a new cycle and be all jolly and, fruitful. You have to go through the steps. And to go through the steps, you have to break the cycle slowly. Once you
Mm-hmm.
start getting discipline, you'll start getting motivation. Once you have discipline and motivation, you can start reaching your goals. Once you start reaching small goals, you can set bigger goals, and it just goes more and more and more. You just level up each year. So it's why when I turned 30, I started to decide I am no longer 30 years old or 30, I'm turning 31. I'm leveling up to 31. I'm leveling up to 32. I'm leveling up to 33. So what that tells me subconsciously is I have to do more every single year to level up to 34 next year. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, I've done a big lake run already. I'm now doing this 44-day challenge. By the time I'm 37, 38, I would have done so much. So if you can just better yourself each day, tiny, and better yourself each year, you're constantly moving forward. And it's moving forward that's important. And it's okay to stop. Sometimes it's okay to go backwards a little bit. That's your journey. However, as long as you keep moving forward, you are going to better yourself. And that's where I'll start is little steps. Just start by waking up and making your bed every day.
Big time. And there's something that I did learn as well, and it does make a difference if you start with small things, right? I mean, I went
Mm,
to the army with 18, so I had to wake up and I had to do my bed. And then just like, whoa, okay. But I felt a change, right? I felt a change in the habit of doing it. And I like to organize things in the morning to have things tidy. I just feel better organized, right? It's how my brain works. I do need structure because I'm I'm so futuristic, right? I would love to have everything now. Like, and then I get a new idea, a new idea, a new that, a new that. And I'm like, whoa, to ground all of that down is a key aspect because not every idea is meant to be um for now. So sometimes it's good to sit with an idea and to let it come to fruition to attract the right people at the right time. And you're like, whoa, it's an idea I had a year ago, but no, I met this person that helps me make this make this idea a reality, right? So yeah, being patient is a key aspect of it. And small things, I do agree, right? Small habits. Like for me, I leveled up a lot in the last 2 years, like massively. After I got hit by a car, like I just woke up and I just said, "Whoa, yes." But what I did is I don't regret because I learned of every out of everything is that I wanted to change everything now, right? So I haven't kind of like I went from here to here and like I gave myself no time to adjust. So I stopped
yeah,
smoking, I stopped taking drugs, I stopped smoking weed and cigarettes, right? Stopped drinking, um,
yeah,
stop eating meat and animal products. I've just like I just went in it and I'm like, whoa, like, it takes, right? So our body is programmed a specific way, and I like the way that you say it every day a little, right? is very, very important. Very, very important. Something that I'm
Yeah.
still learning, because I'm in the future. I can see the future. I know my potential is so great, but in the here and now is the future as well. So being patient, not rushing, right? And I'm getting pulled into the moments. I don't need to push myself a lot. It's good sometimes to push ourselves. Like I see it physically in a way, right? To strengthen in an exercise or something like this to move to the next level. But like usually with life and progress, right? I love to be pulled into the right moment at the right time because my mind is at at the right setting, right? My state of mind is in peace. I am flowing, like I'm just in it, right? And then things always happen magically the moment we least expect them to happen. So having the goal, knowing it is mine, and then releasing the attachment of the how, right? Knowing that I
Mm.
keep continuously working towards it, and then just trusting that it's mine. It's kind of my way of approaching it. So we are powerful beings. Like my message is all about really empowering people and inspiring, right? You mentioned it as well, like inspiring people to become the best version of themselves. And for me, to be kind is a key aspect to ourselves, because like those voices, they try to hold you down, right? Those voices, they try to make you small and think that you are unworthy and that you're not capable of doing it. And who do you think you are, right? Like, who do you think you are? Like, I had visions as a
Yeah.
child, me changing this planet at big time, like Jesus did. And and the voice in my head said, "Who are you to think that you're capable of doing that?" And I'm like,
Who do you think you are?
right? Like, now you see what is happening on this planet, right? Miracles happening every day. You see people talking about what they're capable of doing and what healing results are getting done, and all those things. So no doubt, but be the best now, right? I wrote a text earlier. Be the best now, in the here and now. And from there on,
Yeah.
like just sit with it, learn to listen to yourself, and then, okay, yeah, what's next, right? How can I be better now than I have been before? Even if something didn't work out, right? Have a meeting with yourself and see how you can do something now that you think in an hour, like, well, yeah, I did it. Right? Some people
Yeah.
procrastinating on just making a decision, and they play ping pong with like, am I not? And it's already gone. Just execution basically on it. Yeah.
100%. Just start, just start small. Like at the end of the week, just go, what do you want to achieve by the end of this week? And just set up small steps to reach that goal. Like if there's so much going on up here, if you can't, what's the best way? If you are struggling to calm this down by having meetings with yourself, get a pen and write it all out on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And write it as if no one's going to read it because no one is going to read it. So write whatever you wish. Just get it out. And then once you get it all out, you're just going to realize that it's just words, piece of paper. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything. And then you can start to, controlling your thoughts. Is this thought serving me right now? Is this thought me? No. Is this thought who I want to be? No. Is this thought what I want to attract in my life? No. Is it okay to let go of this thought? Yes. Great.
It's interesting how you associated like the writing with taking control over your thoughts, because you visualize it, right? You hear it automatically in your head as well, and you see it. It's awesome. It's a great way of looking at it. Like, I was overwhelmed with the thoughts in my brain, and the moment that someone gave me advice to buy a journal and to start writing and
Hmm.
drawing, like, it is very therapeutic. It boom, good job.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the first couple of weeks of working with me and with my clients is literally changing their old habits into new ones. And it's just real small. It
Mm-hmm.
could be I want you to spend 5 minutes with your thoughts every single morning. I don't care what comes up, just 5 minutes. It could be writing affirmations 5 times a day. It could be, having a 30-second cold shower. It could be making your bed. It's just shocking that subconscious mind that's been programmed to go, hey, we're changing things up around here. So I'm just letting you know it's time to start listening to what's going on because we're going to start changing things around. It's like, oh, what the fuck? What's going on? And it'll try and pull you back. Like I got pulled back so many times that I'm telling you, it's well worth it. It's well worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that those voices play out, right? Like you can make it really fun. You can make
Yeah.
it real fun. Like the moment that you become aware of that thing that you don't like you can make it fun. So just tell the ego that you have it in control, right? If you're on the driving seat and you have a conversation, right? The ego is on the passenger seat because you don't want to have the ego driving the car. Like, and you're on the you're on the driving seat and you can just have a conversation with it or with him, with her, right? With them. Different
Yeah, with
personalities
them. Yeah.
that this thing has. Though, like if you know yourself, right, and you really learn to start doing the things that you want to do, right, which is for me very important because I know I see it. People are keep doing things that they don't want to do. They keep acting in a way that does make them unhappy, right? They complain, they feel like shit, and they're wandering around. So it is like I came to this moment in time. I'm like, wow, is it serving me, right? Do I need this in 5 years' time? Who do I want to be in 5 years' time? Right? Who am I now? Or old self, new self? And then just like having those two compared next to each other. Okay, old self, new self. Great. How do I feel when I look at them? Right? How does it make me feel to see my old self? I'm like, oh, I don't want to be there anymore. And I'm like, yes. Right. And I made a decision to become that. And it's like one step at a time, continuous progress. Just like sometimes you have to adjust, sometimes you have to go into reverse, sometimes you go into the first gear, sometimes you go into the third, right? Depending on how you want, like the moment you tap in and you sit with yourself in silence, you're able to kind of control what's going on in here. You learn to channel your energy. I'm all about like energy work, like meditations with clients, right? Bringing them in a state of mind where they can listen to themselves, which is a big key. Like
Mm.
listening to ourselves, hearing ourselves talking. Whoa. So, and then from this moment on, learning to choose our thoughts, right? Changing our emotional state through the change of our thoughts. And then we're actually capable of altering our reality. And if we're all doing this, we can alter the state or the reality of planet Earth on a collective scale, right? And this is, I am someone who thinks very globally because I see what it takes to create change. I'm happy to have conversations with people like you because I know that you are impacting people and that the message that you have is damn powerful and the one that it's to come. What we did had in the conversation yesterday as well, right? Because this planet lacks, or some people still lack our knowledge of self. They don't know who they are, and this is why they suffer. This is my personal opinion. And the moment that you learn to know who you are, right, what you like, what you dislike, I mean, you find out, you fail, you fall down, right, but you pick yourself back up. And surround yourself with people who help you come back up, who help you become better, right? If you surround
Yep.
yourself with people who hold you down, like start changing the people you hang out with. Start listening to people that you want to become like. Not like you don't have to become them, but take certain traits and characteristics and implement them the way that you grow, right? You implement them for your unique self. Don't be as them, don't copy them exactly, but implement it the way that feels right for you. Don't repeat what other people say. Sit with that information, and learn to communicate your own truth, right? My truth is
Yeah.
different than your truth is. And so goes around. Every one of us looks at the same thing from a different perspective. And this is great, right? I come here with different abilities than you have. I'm sharing a different message, or right, we differentiate in our messages that we bring to the world, though we are who we meant to be, and we feel it because we create that inner peace, right? This contentment in the words that we speak. And we can go and move on, and we're like, whoa, thank you, right? Thanks to
Yeah.
yourself, looking in the mirror and saying I love you. Self-love, right? Bro, I looked at it. In German we say curriculum. I think it was in an educational system of something in South Australia. There was standing the definition of self-love: egocentric or egoistic, no, egoistic and narcissistic is what they say
Oh,
self-love is. This is what they teach. And I'm like, whoa, self-love?
wow.
Self comes from cells, right? Cells in our body. Love is a great thing to experience.
Yeah.
And they say it's egoistic, and narcissists are loving themselves. Like, whoa. It is
That's interesting, eh?
it is shocking. It is
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah. Wow. So they're saying that people that express self-love are egotistic and narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah, right.
It
They're
is.
just labels, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Self-love for me is accepting all of you. So what I mean by that is accepting every single thing about you. Your little quirkiness, it's the looks. Like everyone, and I mean everyone, has insecurities. Right? Everyone has something that they don't like about themselves. However, once you learn to like what you don't like about yourself, I think that is self-love. When you
Mm-hmm.
can be your full self around anyone, that
Mm.
for me is self-love.
Yeah.
Now I said this in a to someone the other day. Love is one of the highest frequencies, right, of emotion.
Wow.
However, love means different things to each individual. Like what you think love is will be different to what I think love is, because we all experience love in different ways, From childhood, we all experience love differently from our parents, from our friends, from our first lovers. Like we all would have a different expectation of what love is. So I can tell you that everyone's experienced love in a certain way, even though people, I've had clients like, I don't know what love is. I've never experienced love. But then once they tell me a little bit about themselves, love could be, oh, how did you feel when you seen your nephew for the first time? Like, how he's, oh my God, I love that kid. And it's like, boom, there you go. That feeling that you have for that person is
I've
love
had
for you. And I'm like, oh yeah,
I've had that
I have
scenario.
experienced love.
Yeah, my sister got a second son whilst I was in Australia, and when the moment I saw him, my heart just wow, right? And it's
Yeah.
exactly that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and because like it was perfect for a client the other day. I was moving him through some resentment he had towards his stepfather, and to release that, he needed to know how worthy he was, and how heroic he was, and how far he had come from experiencing some trauma with his stepfather when he was just 11 years old. And I
Mm-hmm.
said to him, go to a time where you feel so worthy, all you can experience is how heroic you are, how loved you are. And I knew he had experienced this, even though he hadn't told me. And he goes, no, I haven't got a moment. And I went, yes, you do. He goes, nah, bro, I've never experienced that before. And I said, go to your firstborn's birth. go to the time and look down and see you holding her for the first time. Tell me what you're experiencing. And his whole face just lit up. And I was like, that's it there. And I'm like, tell me what you're feeling. He's like, oh, it's like I have a cape, like I'm a protector. Like I would do anything for this child. I'm like, that's your worthy. That's your worthiness. That's your heroicness. That is you. That's love. And I just got him to take that feeling back to his timeline when he needed it the most, when he was 11 years old, and give it to his inner child self. And then all the resentment, all the anger, all the unworthiness that he had at that age had just left his body. And then I said to him after, I said, how do you feel about your stepdad now? And he goes, there's nothing. Like, nothing bothers me. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how do you feel about anger and resentment now? And he goes, it seems like it's very, very far away. I was like, there you go. And that's the
Power.
power
Yeah.
of love and, self-love. And we all have it. It's just seeing it. And sometimes you don't see things with your eyes open. Sometimes you see them with your eyes closed.
We do. And yeah, it's a beautiful story, right? And going back in time and timeline therapies, I mean, it changed things for me as well, even with past life that I went through. In
Yeah,
the
that's
6 day
powerful.
of coaching certification that I did 1.5 years ago or something like that, I chose to go into a past life that I did remember, and I went back in there with new strength, and I was crying. I had so much energy, buzzing, healing what I had visions of since I was a child, right? Remembering like me being killed, basically. So I could go back and just heal it all. And it's been one of the most beautiful experiences that we can do. So everything like being able to find a very strong emotion, right, that we associate with a very loving moment. I mean, if anyone who is a parent, like they have experienced that, right? It's just a very powerful way of going back. And there are even other things. Like sometimes we have to dig and to find because it is easier to find the negative, right? Many of us, what we do remember are the negative things or the negative side of things, and but life has always both. And I'm a big believer of that every moment, every conversation, everything that I look to or watch, experience is here to help me grow and expand. So sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than at others, but definitely time of part of life. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, 100%. And it's that past life stuff, like this is getting deep now, but that past life stuff is, yeah, I think once do spend a lot of time in your past and your inner child and,
Mm-hmm.
just nurture the inner child and, parent that inner child that didn't get the proper parenting, not by our parents' fault, because everyone is doing the best they can with the resources they had. And,
Yeah.
our parents did, and,
Keep talking.
their parents also did the best they could with the resources they had. So I've found myself going back to my dad's childhood and, healing
Mm.
some of that stuff. And,
Yeah, big time.
past lives, I've gone back to, I've seen myself in the Knights Templar like 1,000 years ago. And I've
Mm-hmm.
gone back on a battlefield where I've killed loads of people on a battlefield. I've seen myself
Yeah.
around a round table with other kings and other lords. And it's really quite, if you're listening to just going, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I can understand that because if I heard myself saying this again
Yeah.
over 12 months ago, I'd be saying the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
it's as real as speaking to you right now. Once you get
Exactly.
yourself
You have
into that
it,
state,
you have that vision for a reason, right? You see yourself doing it for a reason. And like there are things
yeah,
going on that we humans learn to understand, but it's digging deep, right? It is
yeah.
like you remember
It's like a
because you go there.
yeah, it's just like it's a tunnel that never stops digging. You can go
Mm,
further and further and further, and there's
yeah.
always things popping up. There was a couple of months ago, I felt abandoned again, abandonment. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I dealt with all this stuff at New Year's. I dealt with it
Mm,
all. So I was like, so I spoke to my now missus at the time, and I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And she's like, would you like some help? And I'm like, can you just put me in a meditative state and I'll go deeper? So she did that, and I've gone, bang, fuck, this isn't me. What the fuck's going on? Oh, and I was like, who is it? The voice, who's this? And it's my dad. Oh, how old is he? He's 9 years old. What's happening? His parents didn't show up for a sport event that he really wanted to show up to. Bang, abandonment. Okay, it's not even mine. All
there you
right,
go.
okay.
Mhm.
But then, yeah, it's wild. So,
It
yeah, the
is.
power of the mind and the consciousness, right? The consciousness is powerful. And I believe the human body, is just an extension of the consciousness or higher self.
Yeah. Like I'm just like seeing him, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like and I'm
Love it, bro.
seeing that picture and looking at him and seeing those this wise this wise man. I remember things, right? And we keep remembering the more we actually want to remember as well, right? Because like we're
Yeah,
living in a world free will is accepted, right? Or in a reality in this universe where free will is there. So what do you want? Right? And the moment that you connect your emotions, we're emotional beings, I believe so too. The moment we connect our emotions with that what we want, right? We do get on information that we long for. And for me, like my childhood has always been, right? I looked at it like someone asked me joyful moments, very difficult. But looking at him, I'm like, he knows what he is seeing. Like he does know things that other people just don't, right? And it has been
yeah,
challenging, but like, yeah, it goes deep, right? And remembering past lives, like for people who listen to this and who maybe are not on that path or don't know if that is real or not. Like the most weirdest thing that I just share, like, and then imagine what this whole world has for an expectation of it, right? The whole worldview on who Jesus is and what he did, right? Like people talk about it. I saw myself being crucified in the age of 6. I saw myself
yeah, right.
healing the blind and healing people who couldn't walk in that age, right? Having visions of it. And it came back in the last 3 years in Australia. So, and I had to go through this through some reason. So
Yeah,
I have goosebumps, bro. Right? Connecting. Like this energy always has been with me for some reason, right? And I did have those visions and I allowed myself to feel it. I allow myself to release what I needed to release because it is not fun to hang on a cross and to to do that, right? And
what
you're
the
like,
hell is this?
whoa, like forgiveness is a deep thing, guys. Forgiveness is a very deep thing. So yeah, like what I just love saying and just embodying is like be the best version you can be and learn to love yourself and forgive yourself and others for what they did and what you allowed them to do with you as well. Sometimes as children we feel like helpless, right? And we don't know like why things happening the way they do, and it's there's evil shit going on, right? And I'm really I won't leave this planet until we freed ourselves. This is like my belief. I won't leave ever until we have this and until we have heaven on earth. This is what I'm standing for, right? And I just want to empower as many as we can or as I can to be themselves, to accept the things they like about themselves and the things they don't like, to become confident, right, in who they are, because like you don't have to. to change yourself pretty much. You just have to let go of the things that you don't like anyway. So it's a big time here on planet Earth. Big time.
It is massive, yeah. So use it
Mm,
wisely. Absolutely.
exactly.
Whatever,
Use it
whatever's going on in
wisely.
your life, yeah, whatever's going on in your life is just a internal representation of what's going within,
Mm-hmm.
and like taking responsibility for what has happened to you is a massive key for forgiveness.
Oh yeah.
Massive. It's easy to sit in the victim mentality. Oh, this happened to me. This happened to me. Oh, this happened to me. All that's going to do is going to create more scenarios for you to be the victim of. Get out of the victim mindset. It's disgusting. It's not serving you, and it never will serve you. Take responsibility, take action, and
Uh-huh.
start taking ownership of where you are in life,
Yeah.
and that everything happened to you happened for you. Really, really important. Everything is happening for you,
To
not to
make you
you.
stronger,
Okay?
yeah. It wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense
Well, that's the
another
thing,
way,
right?
right? It wouldn't make sense another
We've
way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we ask, we constantly say, like, well, I don't know, and I'm going to say majority of people want to be stronger. Oh, I just wish I was stronger mentally. Well, every time you ask that, God is going to give you challenges to overcome to make you stronger. Then
Mm-hmm.
every challenge that you are given to overcome, you think it's happening to you. So then you go into victim mindset and you become the victim. And then you go, why is my life so shit? Well, you just had an opportunity to overcome something bigger to be stronger, which is what you asked for. So fucking
Yeah,
do the thing.
exactly.
Do
Like
the
with
thing.
this, with it being becoming stronger, like last year, I worked in hospitality in Brisbane in Venturama, and like the customers when they asked me how are you, like my answer was for months, good. I get stronger every breath I take. And I
Yeah.
wired this into my brain, right? I just like knew that every breath I take, I get stronger no matter what is happening. And this is how I do live my life. And we can program our way the way we want. So thanks for the golden nuggets. I didn't thought that we're going into past life things, but you never know what's going to happen here. The human experience is a special one, right?
I
Yeah,
love it.
cool. Awesome. So where can people, if they want to get in contact with you, right? You do lots of work with men, right? Are you working with women as
Yeah.
well?
Um, yeah, I don't target women to work with me. However, if like I do have a couple of female clients,
Yeah,
if women need help, then I'll help them. I can help anyone and everyone. My mission is to make
yeah.
more men more masculine. I believe that once we have you know, community full of masculine men, that's going to force the women to be more feminine. It's going to bring the polarity back in the community. Once we have that, we'll be a lot safer for the kids and the new generation. Households will be better. DVs will go down. Suicides will go down, and overall, it'll be heaven on earth. So that is the bigger picture. Got to start somewhere, so that's where I'm starting at the moment. But yeah, they can reach me on, they've got a website which is mindking.com.au, or at the Dan Bartlett on Instagram, or Daniel Gary Bartlett on Facebook.
Awesome. I will place the details below as
I'll
well.
send you some links.
Yes, that's easy. Thank you, sir. Right?
Thank you. It
Pleasure.
was great to
One
see you. Great
last,
to talk to you.
yes, one last advice, one key that you can give for people, one line, what would it be?
One line. You're never alone. Life
Oh, yes.
can seem like a battle. So get someone to help you through that. Now, I want to get more specific on that because for ages, okay, for about 12 months of my growing, I thought I could do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found mentor, and then I found other things. So what I say is Mike Tyson wouldn't have been the boxer he was if he didn't have the trainer in his corner. So if you're finding yourself in a boxing ring, fighting the life on earth, hire a trainer, coach, mentor
Yeah.
to guide you through. It's going to make it quicker, easier, and the healing journey is going to be a whole lot stronger. Your best investment is in self-investment. I know it wasn't
Wow.
one line, but I never listened to it.
That was a powerful line. You don't know how much space there is to put a line in it.
Right.
Who knows, like, right? It's not a line on a small piece of paper, that's for sure. But I believe there are papers where you can place that line on, and it's important, right? You're never alone. We are all one, right? All one, alone, all one. Like it's a key aspect. So yeah, get yourself someone that empowers you, that inspires you, that helps you. There are people out there, right? Invest in yourself, and you can't go wrong ever. And you reach
Yeah.
everything that you want to reach if it's meant for you, right? And what's meant for you is bliss, beauty, love, right? Abundance, like as much as you can imagine, because we are all here experiencing life, and we are all worth of experiencing life in abundance, each and every single one of us. So thank you, sir. That was a beautiful line. I'm stop recording here, and thanks everyone for watching. Keep watching the next videos, as there's much more to come.